All right, so this is, well, going through lesson 1, angular measure, degrees. Rotation angles in a standard position. So this is basically a review of Math 20-1, but we have this idea that we can put angles in a standard position where the initial arm is right on the axis, and then the terminal arm is somewhere else from there. The positive angle is if you go around in a counterclockwise direction, like so, and a negative angle goes around in a clockwise direction, like so. So what we need to be able to do here is sketch the angle and talk about what quadrant it terminates in. So positive 290 is going to go, here's 270, and then 20 degrees past that. So it ends in quadrant 4. Negative 135 is going to go past 90 there, and it's going to end in quadrant 3. And again, we went in the negative direction because it was a negative angle. Positive 750, there's 360. Around one more time gets me to 720, and I'm going to go 30 more. So there's my positive 750, and so it terminates in quadrant 1. Now, these questions are a little bit more challenging, but not much. We start off by just plotting our point. So this point is negative 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, and then that point is on my terminal arm. So my angle is here. So that's what the angle would look like. In this case, we're not actually asked to find what the angle is, just to draw it. Later on, once we've done reference angles, we'll be able to find what the angle is. Here, negative 7, negative 2, it's down there, and so my angle is going to be there, again, because they want a positive rotation angle.
Constable Court, please call the main office.
Again, once this will seem new at first, but once you've done a fair amount of it, it'll be super, super fast. So if I'm going to draw 150, there it is. Negative 210 is going to go past 180, another 30 degrees. There that one is. And 510 is going to go, there's 360, and then another 150 leaves me right there. Now, if you'll note, all of these angles go in the same direction, same place. So these are all what we call coterminal angles. Coterminal angles terminate in the same place, coterminal. The principal angle is this set of coterminal angles with the smallest positive rotation angle. So our principal angle is defined as always being between 0 and 360. The principal angle for all three of these is 150, because this one here ends up being the principal angle. There are an infinite number of those, and so we could write all of the coterminal angles being whatever my principal angle is. I'm going to use theta p instead of just p, plus 360n, where n is an element of the integers. So those are negative 1, negative 2, positive 7, just nothing with a fraction, nothing with a decimal. And so all of those angles will be coterminal. They will all end in the same place. So here I have to find a coterminal angle. In fact, I want to find all of the angles that would be coterminal in this. So one rotation backward and one rotation forward. The way I like to do these to start is by sketching them out. 285 is going to be just there. This one's 270. So it's just past 270. And it will be coterminal with this in the negative direction. So if this is 15 degrees past 270, it means that I still have 75 degrees to go. So then that would be negative 75 degrees. And if I go 285 minus 360, if I've done that correctly in my head, which is a big if, let's just check, shall we? So 285 minus 360, look, negative 75. Turns out I do know what I'm doing most of the time. So negative 75. Negative 13 is going to be there. and then that will be coterminal with all the way around there. And I could just do this in my head, or I could go negative 13 plus 360. In my own head, I'm going to say 347, but let's check. So again, we're just adding or subtracting 360s. Again, 2 for 2. 395. There's 360 and then another 35. So for this one, I'm actually going to have 2 angles in here because my starting angle is outside of that. So my 2 angles are going to be A, positive 35 degrees. I could go 395 minus 360. That gets me to 35. Or I could do that again, negative 325, which is going to be this one here. So either positive 35 or negative 325. Those will both be my angles. The reference angle. Reference angles are always between the terminal arm and the x-axis. So if this is 120 degrees to here, this is 60 degrees. That's the part that would make up the 180. So your principal angle is always defined as between 0 and 90. It can never be bigger than 90. So 243, here's my rotation angle. And then my nearest horizontal is 180. So if I go 243 minus 180, that gives me 63. So my reference angle here is 63. 337, it's going to be like whoop, right to there. And my nearest horizontal will be 360. So this little gap here will be 360 minus 337, or 23. It's positive 70 degrees is right there. And my rotation angle and my reference angle are in fact the same in this case because my closest horizontal is 0. So here's a nice way of summing this up. Quadrant 1, rotation angle, reference angle, equal to each other. Quadrant 2 is just 180 minus your reference angle. Quadrant 3 is going to be 180 plus your reference angle. And quadrant 4 is going to be 360 minus your reference angle. The reference angle here is basically the same thing. I just don't have a picture to draw. There's 195. Reference angle is going to be 15. Negative 258, past there to there-ish. And my nearest horizontal will be 180, so between 180 and 258 is 78 degrees. Again, technically it would be like negative 78, but since the reference angle is just defined as the distance, we don't need to worry about whether it's a positive or negative. Negative 810, 360, 720, keep going all the way over. That's my end point, negative 810. And my reference angle here is 90. It's equally close to 360 or 180. And then determine 4 angles between 0 and 360 that have the same reference angles, negative 128. So the first thing I need to do is draw negative 128 past negative 90 to there. My reference angle is going to be this distance between 180 and 128, or negative 128, negative 180, which should be 52, I think. So if that's 52 degrees, there are 4 positive angles that will work. 52 degrees is going to be that one. If my reference angle over here is 52, it's going to be 180 minus 52, which is going to be 128. The one that's coterminal with my original angle, but positive, is going to be 180 plus 52, so that's going to be 232. And then lastly, I have the one that's going to be 52 down here, and that's going to be 360 minus 52, so that's going to be 308. So all of these four angles, different rotation angles, different principal angles, but they all have exactly the same rotation angle.